Can you hear me? Now that I've put my mic on instead of muted. Yeah. Can you hear me? Now that... Hey Stuart. Sorry your vote lost. It was a slight landslide. But we will continue back to normal after this one. On the next video. I might interleave them if you guys enjoy this show today. I can take these, disable and enable interrupt out. Already taken the enable interrupt out. I guess you want a quick sneak look at it, don't you? This is what I've got so far. As you can see, code by me, graphics Simon Butler, and have the front end sort of working. I mean, you can't do anything other than go to play the game at the moment. I haven't done any more than that yet. Map it. On this, right? I'm just going through resizing changing the position, start position for the screen, because I was going initially on an 8x8 grid size for the biggest screen area initially, and then some of the screens later on are a lot bigger than 8 because they go long. So I had to work out another way to draw those particular screens, well, to calculate bigger screens. So sometimes you'll see them go off the edge and they'll come on back on the bottom. But yeah, let's get on with it. As you can see, there's and before anyone says there's corruption there is and isn't. There is and there isn't, because I'm testing drawing I'm only just working on the drawing of the doors in the background, because they need to go underneath the background. So they are drawn. They are sprites, but they are drawn to layer 2. And the bit underneath is where I'm testing for doing the little pillars that go under the doors. So I was just doing a test for that, and that's why like that. Oh yeah, the sprites, all the sprites are offset because they should be down 16 pixels, because, like I say, I'm changing the way the positioning was done for the screen, well, the top, the start corner, because that's 0, 0 on the coordinate system. So I just wanted to get that. I need to get that working, which is what we'll be working on today. Well, once we've finished off the doors. The reason you can't see the garbage under there is because the graphics for that pillar aren't in the system, not in the sprite system for this level, so it doesn't have it. I've got a level skip as well. Obviously, I'm printing a door always, which is why it shouldn't be there, but I was just getting it printed until we get the proper data in. Ignore the sorting on the sprites as well for the moment. Yeah, there you go. That level has it. The pillars. So the door is sort of correct. I think the pillar should be down a couple of pixels though. Anyway, you can sort that out. And as you can see, I talk through a bit of the graphics as well. The HUD, although it looks like it's right, it's just printing set numbers that they don't change yet. I haven't done any of the coding for that yet. I was just wanting to get something up on the screen. The cookies, what is done though is the cookies, because well, I know it says you got one there, but because they're not active, you haven't got any. The cookies are like a solid color. So I've done these myself. These are programmer graphics. This one, this one, this one, and this one. They are my graphics, but so don't think that that's what will be in the final game. I've sent them over to Simon so he can fix them and make them look better, but it was just something to show that it's not highlighted as in, whereas the tails is the proper graphic there. What else have we got? And that's it so far. What was I going to say? Yeah, so this is where we're up to currently, and let's get the doors in. Actually, we could probably use this level. So yeah, that probably needs to come down a character for the doors. So let's do that now. Right, so the room handler. Right. This is where I calculate the top left position. For those wanting to know, start off with 18 for the 18 for the X and 18 for the Y. And then we get the room width, get the offset size. The offset size is because some of the rooms are bigger than 8 by 8. So if it's less than 9, it goes to half size, which just does a shift right. Otherwise, it just subtracts 4, and then that's how you get the actual size of the room. So the offset size is in A, so we copy it over to C. Then we get the height. Again, we get the size for the height, which is the going up on the diagonal. That's probably wrong. It goes up that way. Height is that way. That's Y, and that's X, and then Z is up and down the screen. That's what I'm using anyway. Yeah, lots of work been done, but still a lot to do. Still an awful lot to do. Right, so we've got the room width and the room height. And then all I do is get X position, subtract the, I mean, I could have done these both in the same, but actually we do that now to keep it optimized. So what we do is we subtract the X and the Y, subtract the room width twice, add the room height twice to the X in characters, and then for the Y subtract C and subtract B, so subtract X and the Y. Right, so that should still work. Yep, still showing the rooms right offsets for the start position. Right. At the moment as well, it's only because we haven't got 128 sprites on the next. Show you the graphics. Might as well give you some background details as well. Right, so that's just the test screen. There's all the sprites that we've got. So just got the doors, and we've got a load of platforms, spikes, window, brick, ball, stick, darling thing, It's all collectibles. Body there. What do you want to call it? Set of books or body. Fish. All the enemies or things that are animated. And then this second set of sprites are what I was going to use for drawing over the colours. Yeah, but basically put Sprite there so when you go behind it, it will disappear behind the frame of the door, even though it's drawn on layer 2. So that's basically the door. This is basically the door sprite, but without the this bit on the left here. Right. So yeah, and then that's them, and then obviously tails animation up, head animation up, explosion, and then these are the inactive, active, inactive, active, inactive, inactive, active, inactive, inactive. Right, hang on, let me just let the dogs out. Right. So yeah, that's the HUD icons, active and inactive. So, and then we have the walls, all thankfully nicely coloured in by our good friend Simon Butler. And that's the Amstrad loading screen because I couldn't find a decent one online. I have got someone. Simon Butler is going to be drawing a replacement, but for now I was going to use that. I haven't put it in yet. And here's the font. So this font isn't used, it's just an old font. It's just I was using that as a reference for what characters are in the character set. So this is space and then exclamation mark in the font. And then 16 characters in, or 48 if you add 32, is 0 to 9, and then A to Z, and copyright for the title screen if we have it on. We need it. And these are the icons for the HUD, and well, the 3 are the icons for the HUD, and these 3 are the icons for the menu, for the cases. And that is it. So yeah, everything's all set up. We got all our palettes set up. That's the same for sprites, and I'm using the same palette for layer 2 just because it was easier to do it that way, saving me having to remap everything, all the sprite images, when I go to draw it onto layer 2. All the sprites are 16 colours, specifically so that we can have 128 of them in at once, because we need quite a few in. Like for instance, there's 8 there just in them 4, because 16 in them 4. And then we need all of these in all the time, and we need definitely need that one in all the time, probably get away without that. Well, we can get away without them because we don't need them because you don't go under them. And then there will be obviously the box, the sprites that are in each level. So there is quite a few. I mean, I could, if we were type for space, I could just copy the sprites in for which one you were using, so there'd only be like 2 sprites for the player. I'd just have one for tails, and well, 4 sprites each. Sorry, 4 for tails and 4 for heads. Just so you can have them both on the same screen when you're in the later levels and you've joined up. So yeah, that's, just save that again. That's where we are with the graphics so far. And right, let's see if we can get that floor put down a bit on the right. So this 20 in my draw wall Y is the, if we look at the walls again, that one is the 20th one. Nice. There's loads. We've got 20, no, 21, because 0 is the first one. So let's take by 8. So yeah, that's number 20, and we want to draw that in both thingies. So if we wanted to move it down a character, so subtract 6. There, no, so have it subtract 7 still, because I think we need that. So right, what I need to do is draw the floor first. So I need to draw the floor. Once you've got the room top left, yep. Right, so if we now have pedestals there, although actually they should be back a bit, shouldn't they? Because the door is flat to the thingy, they should be back, so they should be up a character. So ignore me. I'll put it back to that ink D off. The hardest part to do so far, that's a good question. The hardest part is initially the prep and deciding on which way you're going to do it, because there's lots of ways to do it. Now I could have just drawn, I could have done it like the old way, where you draw to a anything that moves draws to like a little temporary buffer, and basically draws everything on it and then puts that onto the screen. So it'd be like a box around the player, and then that would be drawn into that box, and then just the boxes put on the screen, but enough to allow for movement. So when you move left and right and up and down, it doesn't, it'll also rub out where you were. So there's that way of doing it. And then I thought, well, we've got a lot of sprites. We've got 128 sprites, and I used 32. Use 4 sprites for each object on the screen, which will give us 32. And I know already this screen is missing one, as you've probably already noticed anyway. In the bottom corner here is the teleport pad. The reason being is we've only got 128 sprites, so with having 32 objects, each object is 4 sprites, so that gives us 128 for 32 objects. Now, I do have a solution. It's just that I'm not going to execute that yet. But what it is I'm going to find out where the last sprite, well, any sprites after 128, well, yeah, or any object after 32 is done, well, where it's drawn and where it's drawn on the screen, and have a split on the screen, and then, or maybe a line before, and then just DMA like a couple of sprites back, and then the rest of the sprites, and then that way you should be able to allow more than 128 on screen at once, with all the tiles working and stuff. The sprites are sorted, sort of. I originally started because I had an 8x8 grid. I started doing them on 16 by 16 to keep it in a byte for the X and the Y, and then because some of the rooms are bigger, I then thought, well, I'm not going to be able to use the X and the Y because I need to keep it in an 8x8. Well, because if I have 16 for each one, keeping it in a byte, I can only go 16 units. Yeah, so I should be able to do it actually. So ignore that. But yeah, anyway, I was going to change it so that hang on, bring the sprite back up. That's the height, and then we can walk around. Obviously, you can walk through it and then come in front of the sprites. The sprites clip there because it's too close, but obviously the collision will keep them away so that it will. It's basically what you do in the originals. Because otherwise, because the sprite is long, well, it's like 16 pixels or 12 pixels long or something like that. No, 16 pixels long in depth. The when you depending where you are, sometimes you'll look in front of it, even though your X and your Y don't add up to less than to less than the block that's supposed to be behind you. So that's why you just make it go there, which is close enough to the wall anyway. And it's only a single pass on the sort as well, so you might get some flips, but that was just for speed because I wanted to see how fast it can get it. But at the moment it's running well within the vertical blank, and that's with all the sprites and sorting and stuff, so it's not going to be an issue. So we'll later on have it doing the sort until it's sorted them all, instead of a single pass on the sort. So as you can see, and go behind them, and in front of them or behind them. Right. Also, I want to add the moving off and into the next screen. We'll try and get that done today as well. So that's gone up a little bit too much, I think. We could cheat with the graphics and one, two, three, four. Put it there. Save that. And batch file to grab the graphics. Exit that. Back to our source. And if we put the Inkt back in, which was on here, wasn't it? There we go. That's better. And also it means that the thingy matches up right as well with the height. So I must remember if I get any changes to the graphics for the walls off Simon, I must remember to fix the offset for that. Right, let me just check see if there's any more questions. Yeah, I want to get the jump in as well. It's a bit too quick at the moment, and I think I need to increase the. Do you reckon the speed of the guy running is fast enough, or not? Might as well have it so you guys can join in with the decisions. Seems to be fast enough, doesn't it? I suppose what we could do, the best thing to do, like when we're doing ports of games, I usually do what I call visual ports, like Midnight Resistance, Cabal. They were both what I class as a visual port, where basically you look how the game plays and you see how the movement is and stuff, and you sort of try and match it as close as you can, given the restrictions of the machine. Right, and over here this is my reference. I have using a playthrough. So one thing I've noticed, right, when I was watching this playthrough, that when you go into rooms, every time you go into a new room, if there isn't a tune playing, it'll play the tune for that room style, and that gets, well, for me anyway, it got pretty annoying. Like, as you're wandering around a lot, it's like every couple of seconds it's, and I was thinking, maybe do we have the tunes so they are like a fuller version of a tune for the environment, and then, or do we just only play it when you go into a different zone? Like if you go to the castle scene, like this one, if you go out to the castle scene into a different environment, like the shop or whatever you call it, then you play the different song, and a little different ditty What do you guys reckon, anyway? But anyway, like I was saying, what I do is I watch how the movement is on the original, and then try and match either the movements for the jumps. If it's a jump game, I try and make sure that the jumps are exactly the same. Like if you're standing on a ledge, the corner of a jump, and then like say with Manic Miner or something, if you stand on the corner, you need to be able to stand on the corner and exactly the same distance. Like that, where you have to jump up and over one of the blocks, or you have to jump high enough to get the head has to jump high enough to get up 2 blocks, whereas Tails can't jump high enough to get 2 blocks. He can only jump up 1, as far as I remember, anyway. See, I didn't know about that was how you got through. You jumped through a gap. It was only until watching this replay. But yeah, well, I basically use watching a video of, well, with like Cabal and Midnight Resistance, we just videoed the game with me playing the game, and then we just watch it back and see how everything moved, see what baddies did, see how the baddies reacted to you, see what kind of things drive the AI, like do they home in on you, do they do specific things, or if they got specific tasks to do or whatever. Like these, you can pile things on top of each other. Some things roll continuously, like the ball. If you knock that goes until it hits something to stop it. Other things have got a bit more friction, so they only move when you're pushing on them. And like that jump, then you need to have it so you can jump. Otherwise, having the rooms laid out exactly the same, you're not going to be able to do the jumps. So you're not going to be able to complete the game, because some jumps are pixel perfect. Like it's the teleporter that was missing off the thing, because it's 32 in that screen. And there's the little pillars. I know in the Specky version you didn't mask off the floor. He just printed the walls on. No, it didn't mask the walls. I mean, when he was printing the walls. Although I know he probably didn't there, because you can't see it anyway, because it's pixels there. So again, like I say, it's you find a lot out by watching what goes on in the games. You find out a lot about how they did things, even though without seeing any of the code, you can figure out that they just, when they draw the walls, they overwrite. You don't mask it, the walls on, and that's why you get these bits missing, these corner bits missing on the patterns. And it's the cross is there on this side, but that's because there's not printed a wall and wiped it. And another thing I noticed as well, the door is on the outside, so it's an extra half. They put an extra half on the room. Like these ones are masked on because you can see they go over nicely without deleting too much. They only delete a little bit, obviously, because I guess, well, I'd have to check the pixels, but yeah, it looks too neat on a diagonal for it to do it right, by right instead of masking it on, or in it on even. So yeah, Let me take this off now and let's get on with it. So I can have a look at the comments, because while I was watching that video I couldn't look at the comments. Bit too fast for the movement. Yeah, we can slow it down. Yeah, head moves faster than tails anyway, so yeah, we'll probably need to slow heads down. Sound black just right. Yeah, it seems a nice little pace, and then we speed the character up. I'm tempted to put the door movement in first, actually, because I think it'll be quite good if we put that in. Just so it makes it more complete, doesn't it? So if you like go to the rooms and then go into the right. So should we do that? Should we put the rooms in? What do you reckon? Will he have a shadow? Good question, Spectrum Next stuff. Yeah, if he doesn't want to with the different themes. So I don't know. So you reckon the continue? What do you reckon, the continual flow on the tune, or no, either expand the tune for that theme environment, or do we go with little ditties when you enter a new room or when you enter a new theme? What do you reckon? Just so we know. Do you reckon we go with a tune for the theme and just have it playing in the background? Obviously with the option to switch it off. Or do we have the little ditty as it is now? Go with the theme. Okie dokie. Right, okay, let's put a note in the game side then. Space until the theme changes. Can be turned on and off in options. Right. So I think just to see the stuff for moving the player around is very simple and small. So at the moment here I've got this press H to change the screen, and what I will do is at the moment I won't do it just exiting the door. I'll just go to the side of the room just for simplicity. Let's test it. What did we call the variable in the room setup? Pointer. It's a variable. Go to out. So room go to out. Right. Right. And then actually um, right. Let me just we don't you as you start off let's see, isn't it? Right. Now right. It crashed, but it did go to a room. Not did go to a room, but didn't say what room it was. Just check to make sure that alter the IY room handler. What room do we start in? 0. room 0, left goes to room 1. Right, so it should go to room 1. Make sure we've not string star. That star is going back to Zeus on a Specky, I think. I think that use star as the right. So it's not coming back as pointer. Positions and yep. So why are you not 0? Let's put a breakpoint in there. Let's, 7. And it's 1. I know what we need to do. We need, because we've gone into room 0, because that it actually worked, but what happened is it's done it. It's gone into room 1. Is it? That's FF, yeah. So basically, it goes into the room, draws the next room, but runs the game cycle to print the sprites up. As you can actually, it's in set up new room. Set up new room, right? Clears the screen, turns everything off, draws, clears the sprites, turns the sprite, clears the screen, turns the sprites off, draws the room, clears the images, adds the images for the room, adds the set sprite list, which is like the heads and tails, sets up the palettes, does a game update, waits for a VBlank, and then resets the clipping, so it just enables the screen again. So what happens is our position hasn't been altered. So what I need to do is when you go into a room, it needs to have set up a new entry into the room, I reckon. Right, because you can go into rooms from different rooms, from different angles and stuff. You need to reposition your player, which will also need to be done for what I will do is, for now, the size of room 1, just so we can test this. When you go into room 1, it's a 6x8, so it's only 6 wide. So in game, so we don't need to worry about that because we know it's going to go into the right room. Then we do load brackets ix plus xpos comma string 50. Just doing that for now, and then we'll set it up properly when you do. Nope, still got it wrong. Let me just check to see that I can still cycle through the rooms. Yeah. Right, okie dokie. Right, so let's get left is held. Right, that's not setting X or IY, so it's not that. That's an interesting one. Let's set up a new room. If I do in here, I know why. Yeah. Just in case. There we go. Right, so it doesn't need to be right, it needs to be 7F. And right, there's that start one. Right. Remember, so borrowing. Right, what we need to do is, for now, I will just do uh, 7F. Right, and then Y. So for now, I'm just going to briefly do it to point to the far extreme of the room, even though it's smaller than an 8x8. So I should be able to go back into there. Right, can't go out through the teleporter yet, but we've got them. So if I start at a different room, just find a little map. Yep. Yeah, let me just check I haven't missed anything. Do I have a musician I'm working with on Head Over Heels? Yeah, I was going to choose one. I'll see if he's still available. If not, then I will. I take it Spectrum next stuff is you, Mike? Yeah, when you swap over to Head and Heels, there'll be a little jingle for each player, and then when you use both, it'll obviously have its own little jingle as well. I think that'd be quite nice. Yeah, Mario, it's got to be Z80. Just because I've done Z80 for an awful long time, so I know it. So, and I like the challenge of doing Z80 rather than doing it in C. Although doing it in C would be a lot quicker. I like programming Z80 anyway. It's take me back to my roots, so it becomes an enjoyable thing. So yeah. Where's the start? Yeah, start for head and start for tails. So head goes up to there, drops down. So if we go to this room, we should be able to is that room 4? Let's see. I'm going to use H2. 1, and then which room is that one? That is Thingy's room, isn't it? It's Tails' room. Yep, that's Tails' room. So Tails, and then that's that room, and then that room. Right, so if I Doc's just come back in the room. She likes to sit with me when I'm coding. Right, so if I make it so that we can also exit top and bottom. So back we can let's copy them lines down here. So this one is up. So if we do load is AX plus player height and compare string 40 colon grnz comma dot hu load a comma brackets I plus go to sky a colon jump set of new room, and we also need to do load a comma brackets ix plus player, although I've already got it set in A, so I don't need that actually, but I'll do it because this isn't staying like this. So string 3f x plus I need to come at A. Actually, it should be it's one more than what it should be. Right. So yeah. Right, the reason I'm doing, in case you're wondering why I'm doing 7F here and CF there, when it's going to 40, if I do XF, when it's at 40, if I XOR with 3F, it'll make it 7F, and I don't want that. So if I make it 7F, XOR with 40 is 3F. And this one, FF, is where it is currently, as in you've just gone down off the bottom of the screen. And then player height, XOR CF will make it be 40, sorry, it should be C0. And that should make it 3F. PLR. Exit name. Right, so we should be able to go left through there, and then skip into the next one, left through there, and then up, and maybe that's not the room to open. So go left, then we skip to room 2, left, into room 3, yeah, which is this one here, and then up into there. So if we look at the room data, yeah, it was spotted day night. That's all sorted now. Yeah, I will try and add a couple of secret rooms or Easter eggs. We shall see, but obviously not yet. And thankfully, where's our promotion? Yeah, because if we look at the sprites, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 spare sprite images. So I can add more as well if I wanted to. I could probably add another bank of 16 without it interfering too much. Because I'm already going in an extra bit into the sprite number. So yeah, I can easily add another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 plus another 16. So we have 25 extra sprites. So yeah, who knows what we'll add. Maybe maybe we could do a thing on Facebook where we say something that they want adding, and whoever gets the most likes on their post, I'll do the post after this, and whoever has the most likes can sort of suggest, obviously within reason. We don't want no dick pics or anything like that in the sprites or anything, or crazy rooms or anything bad. No, yeah, we can have some light humour, but nothing dirty, because in case kids are wanting to play. But yeah, within reason, anything you say that gets the most likes, again within reason, we'll see if we can add it in. How's that? I'm sure we can find a space for Crowley. Now, what we have them doing is something else. We could probably have them as characters, enemies on the screen that just block you or whatever. But yeah, we'll definitely have some things. Thanks, Pixel Hunt. podcast. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. I'll in fact, you know what? I'm gonna do it now. Let's post it on Facebook. Let's show you me doing it live. So that should be a capital E for Easter eggs. Egg surprises. This posts comments and whoever has the most likes will get theirs added. Possibly a few of them. A few spare sprites left. Each sprite may take 2 to 4, I think, depending on how many frames of animation we put in for them. But if they're moving around, they're going to need an up, down, left, right, which is 2 sprites. And if you want them animated, say 2 frames, it's going to be 4 sprites. So yeah, it'll eat through the 26 that we've, 25 that we've, no, 9, 60, yeah, 25 that we've got. But we could add another. Could we add another 32? Let me see how many. Yeah, 16. Yeah, we could add 32, and that wouldn't break any of the code at all currently. So yeah, we might do that. Add 32 plus 9, 41. So if we go with 40, that is then 4 sprites each. So 10 sprites, up to 10 sprites. There we go. Possibly up to 10 of them. 4 frames, 2 walk, and down right, and 2 walk up left. Yeah, up left, up right. Yeah, up left and up right. I know they're flipped anyway, but frames. So add your requests. Yeah. There we go. And you see it live, unless you're watching it in a replay. Done. What was the outcome of the post? That one. Where's it gone? Oh, there we go. It's weird how I get that thingy. 65 to 2. Yep. Right. Let's get back to where we were. Right, cool. Sick Live head sprite. That would be cool. And we could probably put him on the on a joystick and have him going around. You know, like Prince Charles and the monkey and that. That'd be cool. Yeah, the Amstrad version of Head Over Heels was pretty cool. Greg Crowley jumped for joy. Yeah, right. So now why are we? Sky, that shouldn't be sky, that should be floor. That's why the room crashed. Right, so left, skip to the next room, left, up, no. Right, 40, XL7F is definitely 3F, and FF, XL CF is 3F. That's that. Unless, I haven't mixed up the IX and IYs. Down sky floor. HD, HD, HU, yeah. Right. Left. Left. And up. Right. I shouldn't be at 3F. I should be at 0. So, went up. You know what? Uh, 3F. And 0. 7F. And then left is 7F. 0. Right. And then, because I thought of a quick way, what we can do is when we've generated the new room, because we know the size of the room, we can just shrink it in. So just max it out. So if I now go up, hey, so I should be able to go up and up. And right, where's our map? So where am I up to? It's not that room. It's that room, isn't it? Yep, this room. Yep, that body's there. And then, so if I go up again, we're in that room. Yeah, yeah, and then should go right. Let me just come in here. takes us into here. I've only got this many on because I've only got a 32 object limit at the moment until we add the extra sprites. So now I don't know if I can go this way. I don't know how far I've gone with I know I've got quite a few screens. So yeah, and then if I go up, and then I go through there, just one corridor. It should technically be set into 2, but I think that's the last level anyway that I've got that I've entered, because I haven't finished typing in all the details. But I think what happens with the big rooms, let me just check. Where do I check a video of the PMC retro game? It looks great so far. Looking forward to the end product. Show yourself on the program side. It's going to play great. Yeah, thank you very much. I will try my best to make it as good and playable as the original. Tony Dang, I don't know. He was ill. That's something that happened. I don't want to go into too much details because it's not up to me to say. But I haven't heard back from him, so I'm a bit worried. It's been a while. That's why I've got back into doing the game myself, because originally we were going to get him to design new levels and stuff, but sadly I've not heard back yet. So we're getting close to releasing the next, so I've had to crack on with getting the game done as much as I could. Sadly, I won't be able to, unless he comes back and some changes now, but yeah, hopefully he's okay. Like I say, I've not heard from him in a while. Good few months, like quite a few months, if not more. So yeah, hopefully he is okay. But obviously he's not been well enough to get back, or maybe he's forgotten. I don't know. But anyway, fingers crossed he's okay. Did you get your virtual fighter working? Yeah, basically what's happening is I was going to do my tutorial, and I had a few people saying that they were still catching up, so I thought I would give people a sneak preview in how we're getting on with head over heels with the game so far, and if they wanted to see what was going on and how we're progressing and stuff. And it turned out a lot of people wanted to see how head over heels was getting on. Right, so anyway, we have. Hey Lee, how are you going? So yeah, we now have the ability to move around the rooms. I should also get back to making the doors appear in the right place. So let's do that with this back door. Right. So in room 1, room 0, you have the door on the left, which is right, which is left. and the position is 3, so it's 3 characters, 3 blocks in. So, right, what I'm going to have to do is right, draws the floors and gets the door. Top left offset. Right, so we've got the top left and room height divided by 2. It should not be that. We should do load HR comma brackets room pointer. So I'll do IY, but room pointer, and then load a comma brackets IY plus room door left. Actually, we can write that there. I think that there. I don't need IX is already there, isn't it? Right, room height, subtract the room door left. You want to subtract 1, and then that load C with A. Right, now we should hopefully that door's in the right place. Let's just cycle through the rooms. That door's in the right place. These don't have doors, these ones, with that one's not in the right place. Right, I need to push D, push BC. Whoa. Pop BC, pop DA. Load A, comma, load D, comma, string. Pause 400. X8. Right. 4. So down 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. H8 is fine because that's not on. 4 is right. 6 because that's the room size. Room size 8. F4. That's way too big. Way too big. That's why. That should be 0.3. Ah, that's why. The one is the height. So we need to do load A comma brackets X plus room door L colon and string block OF colon load C comma A. That's not right. Let me just check what planet you're in. 3. Hang on. In fact, what we can do is not that door. Right, so no door, door there. Yeah, that is 3 because the room is 12, and what I think happens if we look in the video again. I always watch the original game that I'm doing just to see what kind of things happen for, specifically for things like this. Like, where's a big room? Yeah. So that room is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go back a little bit as it goes into that room. Popeye the Sailor Man. Right, and it goes left in here. Right, now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 length. And what I think it does is it splits the room into 2 6 by 6s. Because I think the game plays in a max 8 by 8 grid, but can show rooms bigger than like an 8 by 8, because that one's an 8 by 8. But I think that's the biggest play area that they do. Yeah, because I think it was so you don't go off screen with your player, so it keeps it in the area that is visible on screen. So now what I will have to do, I'll probably have to make some changes to the code, because the code, where is it? It's here. Yeah, at the moment I have in the room data I have, I'll show you what I've done. I've got the up to 8 sprite types that can be in that particular room, or sprite images. And then we have a room width and height. What I think I will need is an actual room width and height, and then when it's drawn on the screen, it will use the real width and height. When it's drawn on the level, it'll do the real width and height. But when it's doing a that's a point, because like when you change room, when you change room, you lose what you were carrying. So I just want to see if when you go into a long room, if you're carrying something, when you're in the long room, is there things to carry in the long room that you can pick up? There isn't, is there? I don't think I've... See, because otherwise, would it, when you swap rooms, would it get rid of it? Because the logic of the game is when you go into a new room, you get the sound, the new sound and everything. But you also lose what you were carrying. Right. Trying to see if I can find another long room. There we go. Right. Yeah, I think even on the half rooms, yeah, this is one, but it's got gravity. No, not gravity, it just continues rolling. So I'm guessing on the rooms that split, you can't. If anyone knows any, let me just check the comments. Yeah, 8 times 8 to render the rooms. Development as you watch. Yeah, I might. If you've enjoyed this so far, I might do this like every alternate week to the tutorials. Every alternate weekend to the tutorials. That's if you guys want to do this. If you've enjoyed watching along. Hidden cheats. What kind of hidden cheats were you looking for, Retro Robbins? Okay, glad you're enjoying it. Cool. I think then I will. Well, I will do some more next time. Do you want me to do it more often, so you see the whole progress of the game every time I do it? Do you want me to stream, or do you want me to because it'll be random evenings when I get spare time to do it, or like if I'm wanting to get ahead on it, I'll do every evening or when I'm free. Yeah, stare at the code until it works. That's the best tactic, Tim. You should know that. Works every time. Yep, as Ped said, works every time. Stare at it long enough, it will work. The Chuck Norris method of coding. It's basically like when you're doing a port, you really have to, if you want to do a port justice, you have to watch the original and like go through it with a fine-tooth comb to make sure you got a lot of the aspects of what was going on and how it played, how it moved, how things act with you, how things react with you, how they move, what they do, if there's like if they follow a pattern or anything like that. Basically, just observe and it will write itself in your head while you're watching. Cool. Glad you like. I don't know how you pronounce that, Jow or Silver. I'm sorry if I've pronounced it wrong. I haven't got a clue on how you pronounce that. If you could let me know, that would be great. Yes, yeah. What I do is if you're having an issue with a bug, you find somewhere in the code where it is, or in the thingy to print, and just print a number on the screen, and it lets you know, unless it's a crash, obviously, then you need to put a breakpoint in there or whatever. Or what I would do if it was back in the day and there was a crash, what I would do is I would have things that hailing outside. I would change the border color, or do something on screen to put an indicator, change like the one block in the top left, or the whole attributes of the screen, to a certain color like red, green, blue, whatever, then you know that if it crashes and it's still blue for a fraction of a second, that was the last part that cleared. So it's usually in the next bit. Like say you did red, blue and green, or red, green and blue, you'd know that say red, blue and green, because the green would be after the blue. So you'd say, right, got past the blue bit, it's in the green bit, so you know roughly where where the crash was. And that's without when you're like working on a machine that will just reset and you've got no hardware control over it, you can't add a breakpoint or whatever in the source, then am I muted? Please tell me I'm not muted. Can you hear me? You've lost your voice. My mic's on. Mic's on. Can you hear me? Oh, I'm back. Yeah, I'm back now. That was weird. Where did you get off to? Where did you hear off to? Hey, Kaya. Nice to see you down here. Cool. Where was I off to? Where did you hear off to? Good. Glad it's loud and clear. Sorry I can't make Poland. Most of it okay. Oh, cool. What's that, thunder? Maybe it was the thunder that affected the audio. Something to do with the attributes. Yeah, basically, if you're doing debugging, if you can't set the border color, or if it's a crash bug and it resets, the part of the ROM sets the border color quite quick, so that might not be active long enough for you to see it. So if you set the whole screen of attributes, it takes a little while before it puts stuff right to the screen, because it goes backwards through memory. So you've got a little bit of time before it blanks the screen, the attributes. So if you like set either like the top left block or an area of the attributes, then you can see where the code was. Like say you do red, blue and green. I know red, green, blue, but say you do red bit to do one routine and blue bit to do after the next routine, and then a green bit after the next routine. And if it crashes and then the attribute's still blue when it stops and does the reset thing, then you know that it's after the blue and in the green because it got to the blue okay. I mean, I know sometimes depending on if the blue had corrupted some RAM, but you know that the crash happened in the green stuff, so it's what happened in the green stuff, then you go to find out. Is this mic acting up? Do I need a new headset? Is it okay? I think it's probably the thunder and lightning that's affecting the mic, because I'm not pressing the mute button on it, because although it's a slider there, I'm not actually touching it. Okay, heard everything, cool. Right, so yeah, like Tim said, just if you're debugging stuff and you want to find out where things are getting up to, or even if it's not causing a crash but it's acting differently, like where it was printing the doors, put in something that will print something on the screen, print a number on a blank bit of screen that doesn't get overwritten, or like say put something on the border to give you an indication. Like you could set the border color to the value what's in A. If you're using the next colors, then you got all 256, and you'd have a rough idea of which color it was in the palette. Or there's many different ways of doing it. You can, like say, best off is writing a bit of hex number onto the screen somewhere, if you can, if you're not updating the whole screen. Right, let me just stop that thing in the back, head over heels in the background. Because I don't know if you're getting it, but I'm getting off head over heels every time he goes through a room. Because I didn't pause the video. Yeah, okay, sorry about that. But that is, funnily enough, that's one of the things when you're making a game and you've got the audio in. I think that's why a lot of people do the audio at the end of the game, because if you're running through rooms and all you're hearing is do 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 every 5 seconds, it can get a bit repetitive, especially if it's like for like a month on end while you're busy finishing a game off or something. But yeah, it can be the best tune ever, but if you're hearing it like every 5 seconds for like a month solidly, then yeah, I don't care who you are, you will end up hating it. Right, so where were we? So we've got the doors printed in the right place apart from the long rooms, because that's it set as 3, but that's a 6 by 6 room, and that's why it's 3. So yeah, that's right. That one is right, but that's in the top. It should be up there. I wonder what that value is for that room, because it's not in that room, it's in the other half of that room, which should be a separate room. But yeah, I'd say the doors are working. We need to have a height as well for the doors. So it's the long doors. Right, so we'll say that that's right for now. And then what we'll do next is do the door for like the floor. That's the door left. Need to do the door for the top. Top door. That'd be an up door. But sounds rude. Top right offset. So basically, this will be the get door top up and F, and then room width. And then you want to add and that should be it. That, and then instead of three, so it'd be oh, that bugger. I'm going to need to flip though, aren't I? Yeah, I will. I'm going to need to draw them flipped. So set bit 7 and draw a sprite to L2, and then actually I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have a separate routine. Flip. Right. So now we need to do order in which it's stored, and then we need to draw them backwards, so it'd be Right. And then I need to need to, oh, that shouldn't be there, that should be on the bottom one. Deck L. Right, I need to L colon L colon or 7 colon L colon A add A comma 8 colon word L comma A. I said extra 7 8 comma 9 that be it. Right, so we got all 7s, put 7 go back, add to 9, and then we'll go back and order 7, yep. There we go. It's drawn a door. Need to swap the pieces around, but it's drawn it. So, that's wrapped. That has gone off the edge of the thing and wrapped. I should. They're in the right way, Wendy. Right, so I need to have the one that dropped down. Swap them over, didn't I? Nope. That must be this being wrong. Check out. L is definitely a 0 because it's set to 0 there, and we've got a set res7 of h. So add in BC. So each sprite is 128 bytes, which is the 80. So in case you're wondering why this 10 is, it's how much RAM it's offset when it's drawing the sprites. If I show you the screen, right, when it's grabbing the sprites, it grabs 16 by 16s, and it grabs all these, and then it grabs all these, and then it grabs all these, and so each sprite is, so the door is 0, 1, and then 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. So 32 sprites to get to the next, to the bottom of the image. And 32 times 80 is 10, 0, 0. And that's why we add that for each sprite offset. So it should have just been able to do that to swap the ordering of them. Let's start 1 and then 2, 3. So when we swap it over, it should be 2, 3, and then 0, 1. So it should be that, actually. Is it? No. Drawing that one, then that one. So it is, yeah, it's not. When it's flipping them, I want to do 8 and then 0 and then 1, 8 and 1, 0. Right, that's definitely the order I need to draw them in. And then the that needs to ink A is down, draw. So when it's drawing the bottom right bottom right wall, door, it's these that I need to do as well. SP01 and 3, 2. Because I keep looking at them as a single sprite, and it's 16 sprites only for a door. Right. So that is for the images. Let's flip it all right. But it's it needs to be not 1, it needs to be 2. So, and then 2, 3, 0, 1. Also, I need to, yeah, that's right. There we go. And I need to increase D. Uh, 28. Right. I need to do add 28. I need to add 1, 8. I think. There we go. Right, and same with the doors, the walls. Need to do D. Don't want it to go down, don't want it to go up, because the doors to the right go up, and the doors on the left go up, and the doors on the back go down. So, oh, there we go. Right, so the door is in the right place, but it needs the footings need to be flipped as well, and they need to be up a character. Sub 6. Sub 8. Yep, and I need to flip them. Draw wall Y. Actually, you know what I might do? That might be an issue. I might have to have a word with Simon about that, because I think these need to be like one of this character needs to be looped to get height for the bigger height rooms. So yeah, this graphic might need to change. And I'll just do it. Draw Y flipped. Can't do all the ARX bugger. It's a pain in the bum. Actually, I can do LDIRX because it's deck D. 20 colon 2. There's no need for them. Right, so the flipped one will decrease D or 15, will D with A. No. It might end up going over a bank in and out, which wouldn't be good. I'll just do it for now. We'll see how it looks. But this will probably there you go. Perfect. But yeah, they're going to need to be in a yeah, you need all the tools when you're doing a big project. Yeah, you do need the big tools. You need breakpoints and being able to get to a point to change it, and also it's just a lot quicker than copying a file to an SD card, taking the SD card out of your machine, putting it into the next, running it off, trying it, and then taking the SD card out your next, putting it back in. It's just a lot easier to do it with C-Spect. I mean, okay, it's not going to be 100% what the next will be, but for the most of the development cycle, it's perfect for it. And yeah, I'd swear by it. And I do love doing the stuff on the next, but with a big project, it's just a lot faster to do it on PC, and that's why I do most of the big stuff on PC. But I will be doing some stuff on the Next itself, because it's a really nice keyboard and it's good fun. And Matt has done an amazing job with Odin as well. Yep, we're not in that Odin now, Matt. Sorry, not Langley. Yeah, like I say, when doing big projects, which I would class this as a big project, I always prefer to use have the full access of the speed of being able to just run it. And I can press Control B in the assembler on the editor, text editor, and then it'll assemble it, run it. And yes, you can do there are other apps that build it and then download it over serial to the next, but I guess that I haven't got around to doing that. I should probably look at it at some point. That would probably be handy as well. But the tool chain that I use now is mainly either depending on what project I'm doing, it's either Odin, SJASM Plus, or SNASM from Mike Daly, depending on project. Let's have a look at some of these comments. Monthly view of the game. Yeah, okay, monthly view of the game. People want a monthly view or a weekly view or daily, or as and when I do it. I mean, probably better for you guys monthly, or if no, I don't mind either way. If you want to follow along and watch the development, I can probably set it up and do it as to when I do it in an evening. Yeah, and you've got block copy as well. Very good point there, Stuart. Monthly works, okay, yep. That's fine with me because it means I can get a lot done, and you'll see big changes between now and next month. Cool. Right. So anyway, I need to carry on. Yep, the doors are in the right places. Yes, sometimes they don't have the right graphics. That's because that level doesn't have the graphic in. In fact, what I will do is go to my list of always put these in. Or is it actually, no, they're all sprites, so they should be in always. So why are they not there? Because they're not sprites, that they're a ball block. Ah, I know why. Because I add the room type, so 20 JLZ dot no add. And copy that as well, and that should fix it. Because it was adding the base type to the doors. Because in my door data, I've got wall type is barred walls, and then when it's going through the list, they're all the same wall in that one. I'll find a room that's got different walls. They're all the same one. Yeah, this room, 1, 2, 1, and then a door, and then 1, 2, 1, and then 1, 0, 1, 2, 2, 1, 0, 1, and it's basically just the little pattern that they use for if I zoom in a bit. So for the castle one, this one's 0, 1, and 2, and then that one's 0, 1, 2 for the stalls, and then the Egyptian one 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 0, 1, 2, 3 for space, and then the whatever that one is, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, and I think there's a fourth one there, and then there's the dungeons or whatever that is. So yeah, but when we were loading over 20 for our wall number, if it was anything other than the castle rooms, then that's why it was not failing, not shown correctly. So that's another bug sorted. Right, so we've now got our doors in roughly the right places apart from the big rooms. But I need to redo the big rooms anyway because they need to be up to a maximum size of 8 by 8 the playable area, and then after halfway between. Now I need to for the top left. Right. 24/7. If we get enough, I will do them more often with the dev updates. Oh, I've noticed the thunderstorm all day. I'll continue on, but as the video and audio is messing up, I'll put this in chat as well. Right, yeah, it's it's dying for me here on the watching the stream myself. So yeah, right,